friends. You are watching West Bloomfield 911. I'm Officer Rick, and on behalf of Chief Mike Patton and my brothers and sisters in the West Bloomfield Police Department, welcome to another exciting show. We have a very, very famous and influential guest today. We have a good friend of law enforcement and public safety, Mr. Ron Savage.
Thank you, Officer Rick.
Detroit.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here.
Oh, it's an honor and a privilege to be here. Thank you.
We've been trying a long time to get together, so I'm glad we finally did.
I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Well, Ron, don't run away. We're going to do a segment we call the Corner Spotlight, when we put the spotlight on an officer or an employee of the department and kind of thank him for being here. Okay. So, folks, if you look at the screen, you will see the smiling face of Police Officer James Means. James is currently assigned to the Road Patrol, and he's one of the newbies. He's been here since July of 2015, and we are very, very proud and very happy that he has come here to join us. In fact, he has not only come here like from another community, James has come here from an entirely different country since he was originally born in England. And I don't think he told me, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think he moved to the States just to be a West Bloomfield police officer. So, James, we're glad you're here. James had some previous experience. He was not a police officer, but he did serve as a police service aide or public service aide for the Wayne Police Department for 1.5 years. And that's kind of what we have now. Formerly, we called them cadets. Now they are police service aides. So we're glad that he's with us, gone to the academy, gotten certified, and he's serving you, the people of West Bloomfield, as a police officer. You know what? Out of all the people we've had doing Corner Spotlight, it took a guy from a foreign country to tell me that his favorite food was Coney dogs. Man, you are more American, James, than the guys born here. So that's one of my favorites, too. And he said his favorite book is Undisputed Truth. It was published in 2013 by Mike Tyson and Larry Sloman. And as far as movies, he loves Green Street Hooligans, 2005 movie starring Elijah Wood. And James Wood likes something like that because it's a soccer movie. And to us born here, older guys, soccer is a strange entity. But for guys like James from England or other parts of the world, it's like breathing. And his favorite music was hip hop and rap. James, I'm so disappointed. How can you be from England and your favorite's not the Beatles? I couldn't believe it when you told me that, but maybe that's a generational thing. His accomplishments and hobbies, he said being born in England and coming here, becoming a U.S. citizen was one of the things he's very, very proud of. And James, we take our hats off to you and we thank you for feeling that way, and we're proud to have you as a fellow American. And he also enjoys watching soccer, being physically active, walking and kayaking. So you can tell he's a good young man, strong and athletic, and we're glad he's with us. And when I asked him about a quote of the day, he said, "The road to success is always under construction." He said he heard it from a friend who wished to remain anonymous. James, I think your friend wanted to remain anonymous because he stole it. I think it was originally two people have been given credit for it, Lily Tomlin and Arnold Palmer. So that's why your friend wants to remain anonymous. Folks, if you see Police Officer James Means on the road, please tell him some hello, thank him for his service, and we are certainly glad he's here joining us in West Bloomfield and in this great country. So we're going to turn the Corner Spotlight off on Officer James Means. And folks, we want to talk about something a little more serious. Now, I am getting a ton of calls from people who are receiving emails from someone claiming to be from either the IRS or the FBI or some other law enforcement agency. And when they send them the email, everything looks completely professional. Well, I'm going to tell you that's a scam. And also people are receiving emails from someone purporting to be from Google or from another company that wants to fix their email, fix their computer, even when the computer isn't broken. And in both cases, these people are asking for personal information. Now, my friends, they're asking you for this information because it's a scam, and they either want to use your personal information to destroy your identity by buying things illegally, or they're going to sell that information to someone else who will destroy your identity. So please do not answer those emails. In fact, just click off of them. Don't even open them up, because even if you open an email that you're not aware of who sent it to you, it could send a virus through your system, destroying your personal files, destroying your hard drive. So unless you've asked for an email or it comes from a friend, be wary. Do not even open it up. Just delete it and don't worry about it. If you have any other questions, certainly give me a call in the Crime Prevention Unit. Folks, we are going to take a break. We'll be right back with our very special guest, Ron Savage, reporter for Fox 2 Detroit. Come on back.
You're watching West Bloomfield 911 on Civic Center TV, a service of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission. For more information or to watch episodes on demand, visit civiccentertv.com/WB911. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
After the tragic loss of an officer in the line of duty, Michigan Concerns of Police Survivors provide support to surviving law enforcement families and co-workers. To learn more about My Cops and upcoming events, or for information on how you can help, visit micops.org or call 877-464-2677.
Hello, folks. We are back with Ron Savage. Ron, how you doing?
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. Doing fine. Glad to be here.
Good. Yeah, it's great to have you on.
Oh, it's an honor to be here.
Yeah, well, you got to get me on Fox 2 now.
We'll have to do that. You guys pretty much solve everything in this jurisdiction, but we're always looking for Michigan Most Wanted cases unsolved, so when you get one, throw it our way.
We'll do that. We'll do that. Well, Ron, let's talk a little bit, because we've spoken in the past, both you and I. We've known each other for quite a few years now.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing
You've been doing this show for more than 20 years, I think.
Yeah, I started when I was 5. You know, you kind of have a unique perspective. Yeah. One, you're in the news media, and to a certain extent, sometimes law enforcement and the news media butt heads. Would you not agree? Because the goals are sometimes a little different.
They can. They can. I think we have a great relationship. I really do. And I think whatever you're working on, whether it's a crime that's just happened, or I'm glad to hear you talk about preventing crime prevention, these calls that are coming in now, that's information we're getting on the air about people that take calls in the home. It may be elderly, it may be somebody that's younger than I am, and the problem is they're victims. And then they call, where if we could get some information ahead of time, your awareness, that's key to let them know that people are calling. They're trying to get bank numbers, social security numbers, and you guys are working on it. So it's great that we can have that interaction. So I see it as a positive connection, police and media.
Right, and that didn't necessarily mean us and you or anything, because we have a great relationship. Yeah. And for years, as you know, my former partner and I, we had a wonderful working relationship when Channel 50 used to have a news show with
Tom Common and
Tom Common.
Yeah,
we used to do that Street Smarts thing for
with Amir Jacobson. I'm familiar with that. I'm from Detroit, and that was a great relationship. I'm all for law enforcement and media working together.
Absolutely.
It's a dynamite team. It really is. Yeah.
And we've had a good relationship with you and our department, and I think that's important, because even though we sometimes have diverging goals, I mean, we have to solve a crime, sometimes we have to shield information until the right time because it may jeopardize the investigation, where you guys are working on a schedule and you have different pressures. And what are some of the pressures that you guys face in the media that maybe we don't always understand?
We do want to get the story on the air, but we want to be factual. We want to be first factual, though, and it's more important to be factual than first, I'll tell you that. But I also teach classes, public information officer classes with police and fire. I do that with fire departments. I just finished with West Bloomfield yesterday. We were at Station 5 on West Maple, right by Orchard Lake Road, and we had a class of about 20. But we do cross-trained departments. We do police departments. I've done it with the chiefs of police and for the state of Michigan, out of Okemos, and they have their get-together in Grand Rapids in the state police. But I tell them that our relationship is so important, because we are trying to get facts on the air. You're trying to protect the integrity of your investigation, and we don't expect you, I don't expect you, I think veteran reporters would not expect you to divulge that sensitive, classified information. But if you can throw us just any kind of bone to get that information out there, did something happen? If you can't tell us exactly what happened, can we get out there that you'd like witness information for this area. You know, we're working something right now. There's an investigation now. I can't tell you exactly what we're doing, but if you have people that were in the area that may have seen a blue Toyota or a description of a car, something, anything we can get on the air, and then as you proceed with your investigation, as we learn more, you can share more. But the sooner we can get it on the air. So I think we both want to get information on as soon as possible, but it has to be correct.
Right,
Sure.
right. Would you also say that sometimes maybe police, because we don't understand, when I say we, maybe in a larger picture, and I love the fact that you're doing this public information officer class, because I've gone to a couple of those,
Yeah.
and a lot of times as police officers, it's, well, I don't want to say anything.
Yeah,
You know, and that's not necessarily the best way either.
Yeah. Well, it's a learning process for me. I have a class I present, but it changes every day and every time I deliver it, because there's reaction in the audience. Somebody had an experience that they wanted to talk about, and it's not always a negative experience, it's
Right.
just something unusual that happened. And meeting with the media can be unusual. You may work an entire week shift and not deal with the media, or you may deal with them 1 or 2 days. So it is an experience that is changing, but I tell the officers and the fire department and anybody that'll come to the program and the EMS that you're selling your service to your customers, and you're letting your customers know what you're doing. Your customers really only learn about you when they call 911, and I think the statistics are still there where we only call 911 3 times in our lifetime. So if you haven't called yet, maybe you've got 3 to make, but by and large, people learn about your department through the community service you provide. This show is a wonderful vehicle to get your program out there on the air. The child safety seats you install. Click it or ticket.
Right.
You may be pulling people over and giving them a warning and not necessarily writing them up, or maybe they have a few outstanding tickets and you write them a ticket, and whatever the case may be. But the programs that you do, the open houses, the law enforcement open house, fire does that. That's how we connect with our
Right.
community. So that's what I tell them. If you connect with the media, it's a great way to show your customers, your service area, your citizens, what you're doing and what you're capable of doing, because you go through the training all the time.
Right, right.
You're training for everything under the sun, whether it's forcible entry, traffic patrol, whatever the case may be. Keeping neighborhoods safe, and you want to let, I think, citizens know the good work that you're doing, and I think media can help do that.
Well, I think so too, and I think that is part of the reason why we've worked closely with you guys, did stuff with Channel 50 years ago,
Sure,
and of
sure.
course, like say this.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit. You have a unique position because you are not only a news reporter, but you're also a public safety officer. You're a firefighter.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about how'd you get involved in that?
Well, I'm a firefighter. I have an EMT license in the state of Michigan, and I've worked paid on call departments. I'm with Milford right now. You light them, we fight them, in Oakland County. When there's somebody there, we're running calls whenever a call comes in 24/7. We're responding. We have staff. I worked a shift last night. I work Tuesday nights. I'll work day shifts. I'll work next week. But we also work paid on call, and some of the Oakland County departments are like that, where you have staff and then you have firefighters who are ready to go when they're not at their regular job, and so I do that too. So I work shifts and I work paid on call. But it's just tremendous. I love the rock and roll. I love the energy. I love just helping people, the adrenaline rush. I played semi-pro football for 4 teams, Lansing Capitals, Memphis Showboats. We took our name from the USFL team. We got the owner's permission, Billy
okay.
Donovan. We used to play the Pontiac Arrows when we were with the Lansing Capitals, the North Carolina Cardinals, and I'm finding that football is similar in so many ways to firefighting and police scenes. It can be dangerous, it can be loud, things can change. Things can happen, not always good. Football's the same way. You have to have a plan, you have to have teamwork. When you do that, you can succeed, but surprises can happen and things can go wrong, so you have to adapt. The biggest difference with football and firefighting, and although there's similarities, is in football, we know the game's at 1 o'clock. In firefighting and police work, we have no idea when we're going to be called.
Right.
When is someone having a heart attack? Who knows? When will there be a fire, a car crash? We don't know. And much like police, firefighting is the same way. Unlike football, there's no timeouts. Football, I hurt my leg, I need the trainer. You climb a fence and pull something, the wrong thing, and there's no timeout. You've either got to keep chasing that guy or you got to get off the fence and do what you can.
Right.
Same thing with firefighting. There's no rest for the weary. So there's some similarities there, but I love the rock and roll, the energy of it all. I love helping people, and I love the adrenaline. It's fun. It's a fun job.
Now, how long have you been doing firefighting?
I started in fire in 1990. I worked, I'm from Michigan, from Detroit, but I was in North Carolina working broadcast jobs. And I started in paid-on-call departments in Orange County, North Carolina. And I was also on the coast around the Cherry Point Marine Air Station. Our township number 6 had a wonderful hybrid team of retired Marines, active duty Marines, and of course they have everything on that base down there.
Right.
Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Army,
Right.
and they are the original problem solvers. When they get on scene, anything under the sun, it really taught me a lot. So when I got back here, I went to Walled Lake Fire,
Okay.
and then I moved to Brighton, and I worked 15 years with Brighton, and now I'm with Milford for the past year and a half. And it's been a lot of fun. Helping in your community, you do it, and it's just enjoyable. It's rewarding.
Well, now let me ask you, having done the firefighting, and like you say, it's kind of a different bailiwick than being a reporter, how do you think that's helped you, well, having a foot in both worlds,
Yeah.
how does that help you become a better reporter, and how has being a good reporter helped you become a better
I
firefighter?
think with reporting, it's taught me patience. I don't want to get too aggressive and to say, you know, I got a deadline. Officer Rick, I need to know something now, because we could be on scene before you get there. Probably
Right.
not, but it has happened. I've been driving around in a big city or somewhere, and we see smoke, and we show up, and then we hear a siren coming, and here they come. It's not that the responders are late, it's just
Right.
that we happen to get there. But it teaches me patience that you have to get on scene. First of all, make sure your men and women, including yourself, are safe.
Yep.
What do we have here? Are the citizens safe? Your number one priority really isn't the media. And I understand that as a responding firefighter. We have to look around. Do we have power lines down? It's wintertime. It's starting to thaw. Our swimming pool's starting to thaw. Could you walk into a pool? Could you walk on ice? These are things you got to look out for. Gas leaks. So I want to have patience. I think I've learned that with the responders and being a responder. And I think reporters, if they just let the law enforcement fire work out the scene, figure it out, and maybe the officer, and I tell them in class, say, you know what, right now I'm finding out what we got. I'll get back with you in about 5-6 minutes if I can. You know, you come back whenever you can. So
Right,
I think
right.
it has taught me patience to understand that responders are juggling some balls, and reporters have to understand that. Yeah.
Now, how about from the fire side? Now, when you're a firefighter and you know what the media needs and you know what they expect,
Yeah.
how has that helped you as a firefighter?
Well, reporters don't know what you're dealing with. And you know, as a responder, we don't know, because we know what dispatch has told us. But when we get there, it could be totally different, because it's just been...
Just as it is with us.
Yeah, it's same with police. It's
Right.
just been what's reported on 911. And the dispatchers are great. They're
Yes.
doing a wonderful job. Hats off to the dispatchers and everybody involved in the whole wheel of...
They're your lifeline and they're
Oh,
our
they are.
lifeline.
They
out
are.
there. Absolutely.
But they only know what they're told. And so then when we get out there, we'll discover what it is that's going on. So I think the media, as it can be misinformed too, by virtue of the fact we get a tip from a viewer in a neighborhood that says, I think we have a barricaded gunman in our neighborhood.
Right.
When we get out there, we find out it's a natural gas leak.
Right.
You're starting to evacuate people. They thought the worst. They thought, well, someone had a gun, and it wasn't that case at all. So I think it teaches me as a reporter not to jump to conclusions. Let's find out what we're dealing with, and let's let the responders, the men and women in blue, whether they're police or fire, EMS, figure out what it is. And I think the more patient we are, I think the better response we get with the law enforcement.
Sure.
I mean, it's human nature. If I come off like, I want to know what you know now. I got First Amendment rights. I'm on a deadline. I
Right.
got a job to do. Tell me what you can tell me now. And my mic is on, my camera's on. I don't want to do that. I want to
Right.
have a relationship.
Right, right. Well, now you deal with a lot of, as a reporter, you deal with a lot of agencies, some big, some small, and you deal with law enforcement as well as fire. Is it easier to deal with a larger agency or a smaller agency, or it really doesn't matter, it just has to do with personalities?
Well, it does have to do with personalities. I think in some ways, the smaller ones are easier. The bigger, sometimes the more difficult. When you talk about the feds, the FBI, how easy is it to get information from the FBI or the U.S. Marshals? Now, it can be. They have a PIO and we can call. But when you're on scene, Is it as easy as a smaller department? It goes both ways. I've seen it both ways where the feds can be easy to work with. But I think smaller departments that are in the community responding, they're as easy to get information out of than I think some of the larger ones too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know that it matters the size. I think it matters the circumstances. How many men and women do we have on that day? Understand too, one of the similarities that police and fire have that football doesn't have, but there are similarities, is we can have a multiple scene in police or fire. We're on a fire, we're on a crash. All of a sudden, you got to go to another crash or another fire. Now you may be strapped and not able to talk to the media. I draw that correlation because in football, we only have one opponent, one game.
Right.
We're not going to be leaving this field and going to play another game.
Another game, that's
so those
right.
are things to think about too, and I think the media needs to understand that each scene you show up on is different than the one you showed up on before.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Now, I know that you had, we had sent guys after Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
We sent guys down to New Orleans, or Nolans.
Yeah,
as they like to say it,
Nolans.
Nolans.
Yeah.
And I was down there myself.
Yeah.
And I know that you were down there as well.
Yeah, I was.
Oh,
yeah.
go ahead.
I was
just
there
gonna
with
say-
Todd Brangan, our photographer, and we were there after the fact, but they were still dealing with everything, and they
Right.
were for a long time. I didn't know what we'd see. We saw a lot. We patrolled with, they were on patrol, we were there to document. The Michigan State Police and the Washtenaw County Sheriff, they were a hybrid team, and we rolled out of Baton Rouge every morning, and they said, this is martial law on the expressways and things, so keep up with us, is what they said. And so we get on the expressway, no traffic, and it was an incredible experience. But then I also was informed by FEMA and MedStar, different ambulances were down there, Heart Medical, and they needed EMTs to help with everything under the sun. So I had my EMT license, I went down there, and we were taking people from hospitals to Thibodaux, Louisiana. Nichols State University was transferred from a college to a hospital. So we would take people that the hospitals were full, and some on generators, and you can imagine the chaos, and you saw it. And so we were transporting people that way. So we did a variety of things. But I reported for Fox News Channel, Fox Detroit, and then I also did some volunteer work for EMT. I wasn't paid anything. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your service down
Yeah,
here as
thank
well.
you.
Now, Ron, we only have a few minutes left, so kind of put both hats on.
Yeah.
What would you like to tell the public as a reporter representing Fox 2, and what would you like to tell people as a firefighter?
Well, it's kind of like hand in glove. I think we need the same things. We need viewer information. We're on the air early. We're on the air 4:30 in the morning till noon, 5 to 6:30, then 10 to 11:30, and then it recycles again. So we're doing more local news than anybody. People want to see good news stories, and we have those. We can always use more. We also have to report what's happening in the neighborhood, the crime and anything else that's going on. People want to know what's happening in the neighborhood. We do Michigan's Most Wanted. People want a voice for the victim. If that person can no longer speak or that family wants justice for their loved one. So let's get tips. Let's get calls that we can as a reporter. Let us know what's going on in your community. If it's important, we want to know, we want to report it. And I think it's the same thing, police and fire. If you notice something dangerous, and I was glad to hear you talk about people that are you're warning. I'm not glad to hear that it's a crime, but I'm glad to hear you're warning people that there's a scam out there, that the IRS is not going to call you and ask for your bank number, your social security number. So we need those calls from people to say, I had a call from somebody with the IRS today. And so I think we both need the same thing. We need to hear from our community, and we need to stay plugged in because the obligation's on us to ask for that.
That's right. And as we will continue in our careers, I know we will certainly keep a good working relationship.
We absolutely will.
And I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Rick. It's been an honor and a privilege. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. And
Stay
right now,
safe.
we'd like to honor a fallen officer.
Okay.
So, folks, if you would look on your screen, please remember in your thoughts and in your prayers, Special Agent Michael A. Sinko of the United States Air Force Office of Special Investigations. Special Agent Sinko was killed in the line of duty on December 24th, 2015. He and 5 other special agents from his unit, as well as 2 airmen, were killed by a suicide bomber in a village near Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan. The agents and airmen were conducting a joint patrol as part of an investigation when the bomber drove a motorcycle into them and detonated the explosives. So if you would, please remember these great American heroes, especially today, Special Agent Michael A. Cinco of the United States Air Force Office of Special Investigations. And we say to him, rest in peace, brother. Your memory will not be forgotten. And we want to thank all of our law enforcement officers, our military, and our firefighters also for the service that they perform, and we pray that they'll all be safe. Real quick, if you want to do a jab on police as a firefighter, this is your time.
Oh, you guys are great. We're with you. Yeah.
Thank you. We're with you guys too.
Stay safe.
We're the flip side of the same coin.
We are.
Yep. Folks, as Ron has said, both in the media and firefighting, we reach out. Well, in law enforcement, we want to reach out as well. Please keep in touch with the West Bloomfield Police Department. You can follow us on Twitter, and you can like us on Facebook. Also, you can sign up for Nixle. We'll be glad to send you information that's pertinent to your location, and you can sign up for crime mapping as well and get a bigger picture of what's happening in your community. Folks, we want you to also keep in touch with us here at West Bloomfield 911. Please watch us on Civic Center TV, and if you don't catch us on the telly, on demand, you can watch us at civiccentertv.com. Remember, folks, take care of yourself, be safe, love one another. Tomorrow is promised to no one. I'm Officer Rick. I'll see you again on West Bloomfield 911.